this new lens, we uncover a completely different meaning. Disc 5 tells the story of a player in Minecraft Dungeons and a player in Minecraft Java at the same time. Section 2 marks the beginning. Our player in Minecraft is walking on the surface of a dripstone cave. He hears phantoms and all of a sudden sees a wither. He gasps and begins to run back down to the ancient city below him. He lights the soul sand beneath the giant frame and prepares for the ritual. Meanwhile, in Section 2, there's another story being told in Dungeons. This time, our player is searching for a stronghold in order to eliminate the final boss, the Vengeful Heart of Ender. He also hears phantoms. As his comrades are dying, he needs to be quick. But as he gets to the portal, he realizes he needs Eyes of Ender, and for that, he needs to find the Ender Sense. Section 1 continues the Minecraft story as our hero in the ancient city turns on the alarm. A wither is coming. The army begins to march out in preparation as booms echo throughout the ancient city. The wither is getting close. The chimes that play at the end of the Shriekers indicate that a bunch of Shriekers have just activated. The Lord is summoned to fight the Wither and continue the ritual. Our player in Dungeons, meanwhile, is backtracking through the dripstone cave to find the Eyes of Ender. This explains why the army footsteps don't replace the player walking, but are actually layered on top of it, indicating that it really is two stories at once. In Dungeons lore, the Eyes of Ender necessary to fight the Heart of Ender are guarded by 6 Ender sent all around the world, and our player has just found them, emphasized by its snarl. Finally, Section 3 comes last. The wither thuds are getting closer, louder and louder. Our player pillars up to the centerpiece and turns it on, ready to start the ritual, about to use the warden to kill the wither and power the artificial catalyst. The final shrieker powers on and the warden screams. It has arrived. The machine hums louder and louder as the warden fights, and finally the warden kills the wither in a giant burst of energy, powering the centerpiece statue. Everything shuts down while our character in Dungeons gets to the end as hinted by the statue and manages to kill the Vengeful Heart of Ender, but in the process trapping himself in the end, resulting in the final static sound effect found in both the Deep Dark soundtrack and Minecraft Dungeons Ender, and the story ends. So, is that really the story of Disc 5? It could be, it very well might not be, but if nothing else, it's a really cool story that acts as the perfect way to begin crossing over the universes of Minecraft and Dungeons. But there's one more piece of the puzzle I haven't addressed yet, one piece that could be pivotal to understanding the disc's strangest sounds, like the amethyst and the dripstone floor. And if you want to hear all about the insane world of the dripstone theory that might just solve everything, click this video on the left. If you want to see more crossing over
all this fuss over me.
Interpretation of the disc story, check out Retro's video.
With me, darling.
And if you want to talk about the lore or just hang around, feel free to join the Discord in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.
This one's mine.
My thanks, dear friends.
A game. That's all that Minecraft really is. And since a game is only as good as the code there's some really unbelievable ways to completely break Minecraft. Everything from infinite enchantment tables and lightning to straight up immortality. So today I'll be showcasing some of the craziest exploits that have ever been discovered in the game and what can happen when you truly break the limits of Minecraft. And really quickly, I just want to add that if you are already subscribed, then thank you so much. At the time you're watching this, I probably had 1 million subscribers just a few weeks ago, which is absolutely insane. I really do appreciate everyone that has subscribed. If you haven't yet, then please consider doing so. I promise you won't regret it. But that said, thank you once again. Let's get right into it, and I hope you enjoy. Ever wanted to have infinite items in Minecraft? Well, that's essentially what this exploit does. By using this massive chunk of rails known as an update suppressor, as well as this handy contraption with a comparator, we can create something called shadow items. It's
This one's mine.
groups of items that are linked together. When I throw it out of my inventory, I can fix it out of this copper and even works the other way around.
My turn.
In a storage system, you'll have infinitely refilling stacks of items, so you never run out of the resources you need, and vice versa. You can set up your items into a hopper that will automatically train your goods into a storage system, allowing you to mine for years without your inventory ever filling up. You can even use item shadowing as a form of remote control when you drop a certain
My thanks, dear friends.
paper and teleport you back from anywhere in the world. It's a really trendy world.
Guess I won. Better luck next time.
All in the description, so go check them out. But even if you had infinite supplies, you could never really control luck. I mean, no matter how good you are at the game, well, luck and RNG is something that you can't really harness. You can't per se force an enchanting table to give you certain enchantments or place
this
lava
fuss
stuff
over
like
me.
in survival. Or can you? Yes you can. And it's just as cool as it sounds. Developed by Earth Computer and showcased by him and Raceworks is a way to crack an enchanting table where you can do the perfect enchantments every single time. And you can control it in survival. The way this works is that the randomness of an enchanting table is determined by two numbers, the XP RNG and the player RNG. Both have their own respective seed or starting number, and if you know these seeds, we can figure out what enchantments we're gonna get and how to get them. The problem is, there's over 4.3 billion possible seeds, and there are plenty of things that are constantly changing them. Sprinting, eating, using mending, logging out, changing dimensions, dropping items, the list is endless. But we can use this to our advantage by taking a look at the numbers of levels required for an enchanting table and plugging it into this really helpful tool by Earth Computer. It is possible to find the XP and player seeds. With that information, all you need to drop some items out of your inventory and the first enchantments on exactly what you need to do to get those enchantments guaranteed. How much lapis you need, how many levels, and bookshelves. It's super user-friendly and takes like 3 minutes to do. Isn't that just incredible? And you can do the same thing, but with the lightning. By loading certain chunks at just the right time, members of the prototype server were able to create a working lightning farm. An association, a skeleton horse
The mother's
farm.
strength
From
flows
there, they were
through
able
me.
to gather some of the most broken items in the game, like a protection 8 helmet. But I digress. They were able to control the weather by placing lava and floating chunks of wind that would periodically update the world random seed which was responsible for weather. And they did so in a way that made the game think we should summon a lightning bolt at a precise location, over and over again. Granted, now we have lightning rods, but let's be honest, this is way cool. Using
Purge the
specially
darkness
made
from their
tools, you can
souls.
also predict and control droppers. Which the most common
This one's mine.
Minecraft all around the dropper, spitting out a random item. And if you use this tool designed by Matthew Bowling, you can actually crack the randomness and with 100% accuracy what the dropper will spit out next. It's a really awesome party trick that still works to this day. Another really interesting way to destroy Minecraft is to set certain numbers past their limits. Most things in Minecraft have a pre-coded limit, but using very basic techniques, you can actually go way beyond this. For example, using certain tools, you can teleport over 2 billion blocks out, in which case world generation completely dies out, and
My
Minecraft just
studies
doesn't
have
know what to
prepared
do
me
anymore.
for this.
If you take this to smaller lengths, things like entities and shadows start distorting and stretching out. But instead of distance, you can also edit your options file to stretch out your field of view. By stretching your scope to numbers nearing 180 degrees, the entire weather completely zooms out and makes the game nearly
Thank you for your
unplayable.
consideration.
The same thing, but with the lighting engine. By setting the gamma value past the 32-bit integer limit, all sorts of shadows and lighting effects completely break down. Giving you pitch black worlds, glow in the dark, and black lava, some things I'm willing to bet you probably never thought you'd see. Now, because this video is a
My thanks, dear
I
friends.
definitely recommend you actually done some of those game-breaking seeds. And the game
Vulcan!
bedrock. For some reason, every structure in Minecraft feels the need to assert dominance over bedrock, and they're
I am
doing it in
blessed
the best
with
way
new
possible.
strength.
For instance, in this Bedrock Edition world showcased by Isaac Slicat,
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
builds you a ladder down to the void. There's also this ruined portal seed that breaks bedrock 23 times, 24 counting the version, and you thought the nether roof was safe? Wrong. Just like the overworld, you used to be able to find fossils penetrating the bedrock roof into the nether. Just like this seed on Java, giving you a nice, easy way up. But this isn't the only way that seeds have been broken before. In fact, there are tons of other messed up seeds that seem to break all Minecraft logic. You might have heard of these ones, but they're still so awesome, and those are
Get
cave
down,
seeds. There are
everyone!
certain seeds that repeat the same cave pattern over and over again, all the way through.
This one's
You
mine.
can see it over here.
Educated strength. Oh,
Chaos, bend to my will.
World is unique. Well, there's a 1 in 23 billion chance that it isn't. Sister seeds are two worlds that have different seeds, different biomes with the exact same structure and cave generation. And in cases where the biomes overlap, their features are freakishly similar. Out of 2 to the 48 possible seeds, there are 65,536 sister seeds.
oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
Another seed. One of those exists and are called gem seeds. But perhaps nothing is as cool as immortality. I mean, the power to never worry about death in Minecraft is certainly an incredible idea, but it's not just an idea. In slightly outdated versions of the game, you used to be able to perform what is known as a desync glitch. A desync glitch involves spamming in and out of a boat and tricking the server you're playing on into thinking you're still inside. This little
Educated strength. All it takes.
Teleport right back to the boat. Any block you place in this limbo state becomes a ghost block that's only visible to you, which grants you the power of levitating before people's very eyes. However, there's one other immortality glitch that's even more fascinating. TT's immortality.
Thank you for your consideration.
TT is an anarchy server. The oldest one, actually, which means it has no rules, and as a result, its players have the freedom to do pretty much whatever they want. That being said, one of the only punishable effects on the server is building a lag machine, a giant redstone contraption that's only goal is to lag out and break the server. And of course, some players
My
to my will.
thanks, dear friends.
somewhat the opposite. The players directly underneath this redstone behemoth have their hitboxes stripped away. A hitbox is the place where you can get hit, and the server being under so much stress, straight up remove the hitbox of anyone nearby, granting them immortality. The machine was eventually destroyed by the admin of the server, and its mysterious effects were never able to be recreated, leaving us with the question of what on earth actually
Let me help.
awesome glitches in one state timed out by the sideways anvil can actually change the collision box of every anvil in the world, allowing you to phase through walls like this. What appears to be a solid wall of anvils actually becomes large when you get one facing a different direction, putting you inside the wall and allowing you to go through. By building an end portal and putting the north and south frames facing out,
This one's
and the
mine.
east and west frames facing inwards, the portal will lead to
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Bypass the stacking limit and go all the way up to 2 billion bottles. Don't believe me? Try it out. If you place blocks while falling at just the right moment, you can actually cancel all fall damage. This is because you are tricking the game into thinking that you're stepping instead of falling. And obviously because you don't take damage when you're stepping onto another block, all fall damage is canceled. Although it doesn't work very good sometimes. There's also this random bug where if you give yourself jump boost 255 in older versions and jump, it'll be perfectly
I swear to
normal.
use this power for the
Then
well-being.
looking to fire, you'll be shot straight into the stratosphere. If you push yourself into an end portal using a piston, it will actually teleport you into the end at the chords of the stronghold. So in essence, you can completely skip the dragon fight, loot the end cities, put the gear in your ender chest, and come back to fight the dragon with an elytra. Just be sure to get some pearls and a potion of slow falling before you hop in, otherwise it won't end too well. Trust me, I know. And finally, on the off chance that a mob spawner tries to generate on a chest, like in the case of this double dungeon, its data will reset into a pig spawner, making it one of the rarest blocks in the whole game. Which is why it's all the more amazing that this chest that tried to spawn on a buried treasure actually turned into a quintuple pig spawner. Now that's a good food farm. And the final thing I want to leave you off with is AI.
The mother's strength
AI in
flows
Minecraft
through
is
me.
at an all-time high, and the opportunities opening up are endless. From world record TAS speedruns to insane TAS flexing to TAS friends, the tool-assisted Minecraft videos are perhaps some of the coolest things in the whole game. Not to mention the Mineral project that is straight up developing
Educated strength is all it takes.
If that impresses you, I don't know what will. And actually I do, and it's this. Making real CPUs in Minecraft. Things that are able to run legitimate programs like Tetris, Snake, that one ping pong game, and straight up work is like graphing calculator. That's nuts. That's actually insane. But okay, you stuck around to the end, meaning you're is one of the
Educated strength is all it takes.
deadliest bugs in the whole game. There's this glitch going around where you
Thank
can
you.
randomly unsubscribe. So even if you think you're subscribed, then just check the subscribe button. And if you aren't, then please consider doing so. I'd love to see how far you get before the year ends, and every bit of help does go a long way. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the Food and Bad Flow Media. That's absolutely awesome. And peace out. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.
Aw, all this fuss over me. Educated strength is all it takes.
Thank you for your consideration. Oh no.
This is the hardest escape room in Minecraft. It's full of traps, puzzles, and absolutely cruel details that make it borderline impossible to solve. And I'm going to attempt to escape it and afterwards send it over to a few of my friends to see if they can beat it or resign trying. But first, I had to escape.
Thank you.
When I first
Guess
spawned
that
into
wasn't
the
too
room,
bad.
a bunch of things stuck out to me. The first was this weird Swiss cheese formation of blocks on the right corner of the room, but more importantly was the lectern with the book in the center. I read the book, which pretty much just detailed instructions on what the room was about, telling me to leave no stone unturned and to make a backup. So after making a backup, I then went over to check what was in the chest. Inside was what appeared to be a random assortment of items. There were 2 bamboo, 3 puffed horse fruit, 2 rabbit hides, a cobweb, and a copper block. I needed to make a stick out of 2 bamboo, but I still didn't want to do it just in case I could place the bamboo somewhere else. I did not. But I was still hesitant since it was a permanent decision. As for the rest of the items, I changed the crafting guide to show craftable, and I saw I could also make copper ingots, although I wasn't sure what I could make from them. I then collected all the torches
With
off
me,
the wall because you
darlings!
never know when they might come in handy. After that, I went back to the Swiss cheese structure on the right. I thought I might use them.
This one's
And
mine.
turns out I was right. It then slot goes piece of rabbit, and it was still what that did. After checking all the other slots and finding nothing, I went back to the center to grab the
Violence is never
I had
the
6
answer,
blocks to escape
only
from
the
this
means
room,
to
and
it.
this lectern could be one of them. However, what I didn't expect was a pair of shears underneath the lectern. Now I had 2 blocks counting the copper, but I needed 4 more. This was already getting tricky, but then I remembered I also had the 2 blocks in the back, the crafting table,
Better
and the
keep my
chest.
guard up.
And even better, underneath the crafting table
With
was a
me,
piece of
darlings!
rabbit. This meant I could now craft a piece of leather, and even though I didn't know what to do with that, I had no idea what else rabbit had to be used 4, so I decided to go for it. Now I have 4 blocks, but I still needed 2 more. There was either something in my inventory that I was missing, or something else in the room.
This one's mine.
I placed this block, I couldn't get it back, so I decided to craft
Thank
it
you
into
for your
ingots and see if there was a
consideration.
recipe. I just didn't remember.
Guess that wasn't too
Luckily,
bad.
there was. This craft unlocked lightning rods, which gave me 3 blocks for the price of 1. Now I had all that I needed to pillar out of the room. I gave the room one last survey, but decided I completely looted it and exited. Across the hallway, there were 2 exits. One
Better
led
keep my
inward
guard
with
up.
another exit, an armor stand, and a piece of rabbit hide hidden in a corner. The other was a dark corridor, but unlike the room, I could actually come back, so I decided to check that one out because maybe there were some helpful items. At first, there was nothing but a winding corridor, and I wondered if the maze was just wasting my
This
time.
one's mine.
But then, I saw my eye, and I noticed a piece of string. Now, at first, this may seem like a good thing because I found it hidden clue. But this was actually terrifying, because that meant there could have been string in the first room, and now it's going to be paranoid about finding string for the whole map. At the end of the corridor, there was a cake. Now, the difficulty was on peaceful mode, so I didn't have to eat, and I'm pretty sure I could have even eaten the cake, but just in case after a minute it made, I broke it with my tears, and it dropped nothing. Hopefully, I didn't eat it. But now it was time to go back into room 1 and search for string. And while I was spam clicking, I broke a piece of string. This one wasn't even on the ground, and I literally didn't see it until I broke it. And even though there was a string right above me as well, and I would have no
Thank you.
idea. So I scoured the rest of the room, and after a little while,
I swear to use this power for the
well-being
well-being of
There
others.
could be hundreds, so just to be safe, I scoured the entire room twice to make sure I hadn't missed anything. Also, while I'm checking for string, I'd like to quickly ask that if you are enjoying the video, then please consider subscribing. 2022 is just around the corner, and it'd be awesome to make that year even better than this one, but I can't do it without your help. So if you end up enjoying this video and figure out how to escape before me, then please do subscribe. Also, I would like to give a brief thank you to Seawalk Gaming for inspiring this video format, so if you end up enjoying this video, then go check out his. But hey, looks like I finished gathering string, so let's get right back into it. From what I could find, there was one more piece of string in the room, so I took it and then realized I was actually stuck. And can I break a lightning rod with my fist? No. Good thing I made a backup. After loading the backup and collecting the materials, I made my way into room number 2. I pulled off the best clutch of my
This one's
career and went into the corner to grab the armor stand with a full set of iron armor and an iron sword. While checking, I realized I could make wool from the string, which seemed like a good decision, but just to stay safe, I
Thank you
saved
for
my
your
string for now.
consideration.
I only needed 3 blocks to reach this exit, and counting the wool, I already had 1 of it. Using my sword, I turned my cobweb into another piece of string because maybe I had to make 3 blocks of wool. This was a bit of a risk, but I didn't see why else I would need a sword because we were on peaceful mode. The only thing left in the room was this strange outlet with a furnace and 2 blocks of tinted glass underneath. Behind the furnace was another piece of rabbit hide, and inside the furnace was a stick and a piece of coal. I could now make a torch, but since the coal was already in the furnace, I knew I had to smelt something, but I didn't know what. I then turned my attention to the tinted glass under the furnace. I didn't want to break it because obviously glass breaks and you can't get it back, so I turned it to F5 mode to see if I could spot a button or something
With
under
me,
the furnace.
darlings!
And after finding nothing, I decided to just YOLO it and break the tinted glass, but I was surprised it actually dropped the item. Didn't know you could do that. Even better, there was another piece of tinted glass, which means if I made my string into wool, I could fully escape the room. But I wasn't done just yet because the furnace must be here for a reason. I started clicking every item into the furnace,
This one's
and one
mine.
entered and boom. I remember that swords and armor could actually be smelted into iron nuggets, so I loaded up all my gear into the furnace to get 5
Wow,
iron nuggets.
we
I
won.
wasn't sure for what, but I'm positive this was correct because, again, we're on peaceful mode. While the gear smelted, I checked the entire room for string and found nothing, which means I could take my 5 iron nuggets and exit the room. This next room was massive. I could see different parts of the map, but what was more important was the floor. Right in front of me there was a green pattern of blocks with a drip leaf, 2 bamboo, and another rabbit hide. Inside a little crevice in the
this
wall was a
fuss over
chorus fruit
me.
and an item frame, a furnace, and a workbench. Behind the bee nest, I found another piece of rabbit hide, which means I could now grab
Purge
2
the
pieces of
darkness
leather.
from their souls.
Still didn't know what the leather was going to be for, so I turned my attention to getting the chorus fruit. But when I tried to get it, disaster struck. The chorus
Guess
fruit
that
was
wasn't
placed
too
in a way
bad.
that it was lodged into the wall, and I had 5 minutes to get it, or the item despawned, and I would definitely lose. This had to be on purpose. I tried to place a drip leaf to push the chorus fruit out, but that was stupid, and now I had 2 items stuck in the wall with no way to get them out. I checked my inventory, I could only craft another stick, another leather, and literally nothing else. This was bad. If I didn't figure out this puzzle fast, I would was the challenge. I tried everything. I went to class about something and
My
I couldn't.
studies
I went
have
to the
prepared me
beehive
for
to
this.
interact with it, but I was too scared to be beat inside and didn't want to break it just in case it wouldn't drop. I broke one of the green blocks hoping it would drop, but to no avail. And then in the midst of panic, I realized what I had to do.
My
I tried
thanks,
checking
dear
the river
friends.
string before finally finding a piece in the corner. And I used that string as well as the bamboo to grab the fishing rod which labeled the chorus fruit and the drip leaf just in time. After searching and finding no more string, I turned to the pattern in the floor. In an escape room like this, I couldn't take any chances, so I spent a set amount of time breaking every single block in the floor for absolutely nothing. However, while I was breaking it, I thought of what I could smell and nothing came to mind. Until I remembered to shear the bee nest to collect honey, which granted and looked nothing and couldn't be smelted, but still gave me more potential options in the future. After painfully breaking the last block for no reason, I went back to the furnace to see what I could smell, and there it was right in front of me, forest fruit. I wasn't sure if this was the right
This one's
I
mine.
was still going on the 1 in 7 trillion chance I
Thank
thought
you.
were directly to the exit, this forest fruit could come in.
Brawn wins battles, brains win wars.
And decided to smell the chorus fruit. Now with the 4-pop chorus fruit, I selected to make purple, and guess what? It made 4, which meant I was out of this room and into the next. I didn't know if I should use the purple or the drip leaf, but the drip leaf seemed more versatile, so I decided to save it for later. The next room I entered was definitely different. The ceiling was covered in powdered snow instead of the usual barrier, so I took the opportunity to break a few pieces. I then noticed a piece of sand and it was just outside my field of view and I couldn't get it. I turned on hitboxes and as I suspected there was an item frame on top of the sand probably holding a useful item. I also couldn't see any other blue lines,
we
so
must
I hesitantly
fight,
jumped
then I'll
down
make
and
it
explored the
fast.
bottom of the roof. On my way down I broke a piece of string which again reminded me that I have to literally explore every square inch of the map. What confused me, however, was that there were 2 exits, one very high in the wall and another 1 block exit that I wasn't
This
sure
one's
I
mine.
could get to. I used my grip
My thanks, dear friends. My hand, powers of the
Now I
heavens.
realized that I was stupid and I was also stuck. But after a bit of tinkering with the rod, I found my way out and towards the lava. I had no idea what it was for though, so I tilted my camera to get a better peek and found nothing. This was a dilemma. There was a sand block stuck in the roof and I had no way to get it down. I checked my crafting guide and noticed I could make a candle and maybe I could melt the powdered snow, but how was I gonna light the candle? I decided to save the candle because if I got another honeycomb I could craft a honey block and that'd be a perfect way to help me out. I tried to see if I could use my fishing rod to fix the item frame, but after testing I
oh,
realized
this
it was
fuss over
impossible.
me.
I was stuck. I spent about 10 minutes just wandering around until I noticed something. The bobber of my fishing rod retained the fire when I threw it into the lava, so
Oh, thank you for the attention, darling.
oh, that's so cool! What? Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna do this whole feeling. With that mystery solved, I was able to easily get the sand block and find a piece of string. A boat on a second block of sand. Now I had 2 blocks of sand, 2 string, and a boat. And I wasn't sure how to get it. After checking room for string, I gave up on the small exit and decided to see if I could stack up to the bigger one. After using the boat, torches, and sand, I could just barely make it out.
This one's mine.
And now I was in the next room. This next room seemed impossible. I walked in and was greeted by a chest with another honeycomb and 4 eggs.
I feel
Now,
even
couldn't need to make a
stronger.
block, but I was still unsure if I had to use the candles for something, so I didn't do it just yet. But the most confusing part of this room was the exit. It was a solid wall made out of bedrock and barriers with no holes in a weird M formation. I tried using my boat to phase through the wall and corner, but that didn't work out. I was stuck again. But what also made me confused was the small hole. If the big hole up top was the exit, then what on earth was the point of the smaller hole? Maybe there was another way to get through that I was missing. So I walked back up into the previous room and collected my stuff. Somehow I had to escape this room through the smaller hole. But how? Yet again, I tried using the boat and then put sand on top of myself to trick the game into letting me in. It did not.
Let me help.
There was a way to dismount the boat into the 1 block gap, so I tried it and to my amazement it worked. I had gotten through using no blocks and I could collect my boat. It was perfect, but that still left me with no idea what to do next. After several long minutes of headbanging, I decided to try the sand boat strategy again, and to my amazement it actually worked. I had phased through the wall of the room. This next room was even smaller
have
and
been
had
blessed
2
this day.
sides. They told me to deposit the boat and fishing rod, and I was about to do it without complaint, but then I noticed something. The walls are 2 blocks thick. What does that mean? I don't have my sand anymore, so how could I phase through anyway? Did I even need the sand? This one disclaimer made me question about my previous methods, and I began trying to place my boat as close to the wall as possible. Maybe I didn't even need sand to phase through. And then I did it. I popped right through the wall. Using this newfound technique, I got my sand and phased back into the sign room. I tried throwing a torch into the hopper, but after 3 minutes of waiting, I decided to just comply and throw in my boat and fishing rod. They were probably too OP anyway, so I waited and waited. Nothing was happening until ages later when I was suddenly teleported into the next room. This next room was by far the largest one yet. It had this weird patterned ceiling and a ledge with the exit. While searching for string, I actually found 2 pieces, which meant I could grab 4 pieces or a block of wool. The ledge I would need 8 blocks. On the ledge, I would still need 2 blocks to escape, which brought my total to 10, and I had 4. The other half of the room contained a block of ice above a hole and a stream of lava. I knew that since there was no block below the ice, I had to melt it or it wouldn't turn into water and give me an exit. But I considered blocking off the lava, but that didn't work since lava blocks the overflow. I tried using my soul right, but after a few minutes, I determined they weren't powerful enough to melt the ice.
Thank you for your consideration.
Or so I thought.
Guess I
was
won.
thinking back to the
Better luck
previous rooms,
next
and then I
time.
remembered something. The way the fishing rod carried the fire to the snow, maybe I could find a way to carry this lava to a candle. This almost definitely seemed correct, so I buckled down and made 4 candles. Now I just needed a way to light them, and then it hit me. Eggs. These eggs would work perfectly as projectiles, and after missing 1 shot, I hit the money on the 2nd shot and even spawned a chicken. It worked. The candles were lit. And just a minute later, the ice melted, revealing a new room underneath. Inside
If
the
we
room
must
was a
fight,
chest
then I'll
with
make
2
it
green
fast.
terracotta blocks, 7 rabbit hides, and an iron nugget. I still had no use for the rabbit hide or iron nuggets.
Purge the
These
darkness from their
plus the
souls.
chest raised my block total to 7. While searching the room for string, I also
Thank
found a
you.
piece of glowlight behind the lava, but I had no idea what to do with it,
Guess
so I
I
just
won.
left it for now.
Better luck
I tested to
next
see if I
time.
could climb it like vines, but no, it was useless. Somehow I had to pull out 3 more blocks from what I had. I tested to see if I could stack up with candles, but that didn't work either. This was another dilemma. I then thought there might be a hidden item on top of the ledge, so I pillared up but saw nothing. Even if there was, I was still missing the 8th block to make it onto the ledge. Then, after a long time of just messing around, I tried to make a candle staircase. Obviously, I was still just using the blocks as bases, but when I broke it, I noticed something. These candles float. Honestly, I probably should have known that since the very basic thing seemed counterintuitive.
Better keep my guard up.
Armed with this knowledge, I was able to make it up with just the right amount of blocks. While walking to the next room, I noticed a random button, so I pressed it, but nothing seemed to happen. So I just grabbed it.
This one's
to the
mine.
next room. There were several different rooms in this room. One led to an end portal frame, which I couldn't break, and I assumed I had to find a way to get over. The other path led us to
Brawn
covered
wins
snow and a
battles,
chest, and
brains
immediately
win
I knew what
wars.
to do. All this dumb rabbit hide would finally help me out, and just when it dawned on me that I only had 15 rabbit hide, I noticed the blue line of an item frame and grabbed my 16th hide. Using this crafting table hidden behind a really random quartz stair, I made my hide into leather boots to cross the powdered snow. Inside the chest was a 7th iron nugget, which brought my total to almost enough to craft a soul lantern. Imagine if I hadn't gotten those torches at the start, I probably would have been screwed. But that still begged the question, where is the 8th nugget? I guess it probably had to be in a hole in the roof, so I searched the entire ceiling but found nothing. I checked out the storeroom again, but there was nothing there either. I checked my inventory, and yet again, I only counted 7. For probably the millionth time, I was bamboozled. I had no idea where the last 8th iron nugget was. I was nearly sure that I missed something in a previous room, but I didn't know what. Literally 20 minutes later, I was organizing my stuff to see if I could find a new recipe instead, but to my surprise, when I grouped the iron nuggets, I had 8. Where on earth did this 8th one come from, you may ask? Well, after reviewing the footage, it was on my head this whole time, and I couldn't see it because of my big dumb Santa hat. It was literally on my head, and I just didn't notice at all. Well, I finally grabbed the soul lantern and hung over the end portal frame and into the last room. The moment I entered this room, I knew it was going to be hard. It was a completely blank room filled entirely with lava and and one source block in front of me. The distance to the edge was 9 blocks, and to reach the end, I had to find a way across. On the side of the bridge, there was an empty item frame which I collected in case I needed it, although I had no idea what for. Checking my inventory, this puzzle seemed impossible. I was thoroughly stumped. I had 0 placeable blocks, and the only thing I hadn't really used were the signs and glow lichen, but those don't do anything, so what's that about? I had no clue how to get across. I checked for a barrier to jump on, but there was nothing to find. This was helpless. Yet again, I wondered if I'd missed something on the way, but I couldn't think of anything that could help me. Maybe a boat? What made things even weirder was this one piece of lava which definitely serves a purpose, otherwise why would it be there? But for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why on earth it was there. So I spent almost 45 minutes just thinking, pacing back and forth and just debating on whether or not to call it quits. But then, it hit me. A glitch that I had discovered in one of my previous videos, but it almost seemed too crazy. Even for this. I mean, the book did say anything goes. When I was given the world, I was told to play on version 1.17.1, but I was about to ignore that. I closed the world and changed my launcher version to 21W03A, a seemingly meaningless snapshot just after 1.16.5. In this new version, I had booted up the world, made a backup, and crossed my fingers. Would this work? And it did. There is only one version of the game where if you place a glow lichen onto a flowing source of lava, it turns into water, 21W03A. And after almost failing to make the jump at the end, I had finally beaten the hardest escape room in Minecraft. Although maybe that answer is a little scuffed. So I do ask you, the viewer, to let me know in the comments any possible ideas you may have as to how to solve the last room had you been in my position. I would love to hear it. And if you want to see me torture a bunch of YouTubers with this exact same room, then that video will be up on my second channel, Tweefies, in just a few days. Also, join the Discord in the description. It's lonely without you, but of course, as always, peace out, have a good one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Wow, yikes, that's a lot. I want AoE for Mara.
Undyne and Papyrus' friendship is one of the most memorable parts of Undertale, and no small thanks to the many, many phone calls you unlock once you befriended Undyne. The way these two over-the-top personalities bounce off each other makes every single room a delight, leading to heaps of colorful, ridiculous, and intriguing characterization. It's easy to see why their bond is one of the most popular in the game. It's got the juicy conflict of Papyrus juggling his new friendship with Frisk with his dreams of joining the Guard and making Undyne proud. It's got the tension of Papyrus trying to help you out without betraying Undyne's trust, trying to walk the middle ground and still be friends with everyone. It's got the fun of Papyrus putting Undyne dog bones and Undyne just running with it. And
Look! It's a throwing knife, fashioned in the same style as the daggers we use in training up north in Schwarzbrühen. This one is rusted through and brittle. It must be at least 1,000 years old. You said Warwick found a weapon on the Shizu's homeworld, the Luminous Sword. That machine was clearly slashed by a weapon made of light. It's no wonder the Shizu named Warwick the Godslayer. This one's mine.
Thank you for your consideration.
The mother's strength flows through me. This one's mine. Guide my hand, powers of the heavens.
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
The mother's strength flows through me. This one's mine.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Hey now, traveller. It seems you have a serious warrior in your company. I sincerely hope you haven't come to watch me fight her. I don't need any more wounds.
Sir, I've studied the manuscripts of the Warlord that you and Lord Magosh developed in Schwarzbrüen. I'm one of the few to make the trek across the spine of the world solo. I am Captain Ejlora, sworn sword of House Giamata.
Sir, come now. I'm not used to such formality. I only get called Godslayer, or the Filthy Thief of Light. And the manuscripts of the Warlord were written to keep me and Migash from beating one another to a pulp while adventuring. They were more of a journal, not tenets to devote one's life to, especially our trip across the spine. We were fools to attempt such a passage. My foot was frozen solid for a whole month.
Well, I did the passage barefoot too, as you wrote.
I knew Lord Desmond Giamata, the founder of House Giamata, quite well. He was one of the few nobles that I respected. He could have challenged Dundine Dervish for the throne, but Desmond did not lust for power like the others. Listen here. I can tell you care deeply for the duties you've been charged with, Captain Ejlora, but I would like you to stay with me for the day. There are some things I'd like to teach you that are not in the manuscripts.
Thank you for bringing me, traveller. I will be fine getting back on my own. You can meet me at Deeproot Tavern, and I will tell you all about our adventures.
Mission succeeded. Just say it's a date. Bah. More of this, huh? For the sake of the map, I will step through it all. Ooh. Tom, perfect, because I'm about to get some runes.
The machines here are more advanced than anything the gnomes here on Trinity have created.
Aw, all this fuss over me. With me, darlings!
Huh.
Harp of harmony, calm their restless souls.
Stood outside her house until she took
Thank
her
you.
off. Shows his dedication in spades. There's just one problem. Undyne and Papyrus's friendship is built around them. Now, don't get me wrong.
Guess I won. Better luck next time.
Character. However, the fact that Undyne willingly leads Papyrus on, using cooking as a way to train him, when in reality she never wants him to be a royal guard and would rather he eventually change his career path. Regardless of her desire to keep him safe, it's still a lie. And this one blemish on their friendship has bothered me for years because in the end, this lie is never confronted or addressed. Undyne's argument against Papyrus joining the guard is that he's too nice and would be ripped to smiling shreds. She sees him as incredibly innocent, even though many of the phone calls display a level of awareness that even I may take for granted. Never mind that in the Undyne Empress neutral ending, Papyrus even thanks you, sarcastically
Better keep my guard
perhaps, for catapulting him into such important positions through heinous acts. But here's the other problem. Many actual
I didn't notice I had it.
spared him instantly. Once for a job or what's it called? Just from that once. Once for any of the canine unit? Just from the stick. You can betrayal kill Doggo by petting once in lesser dog by throwing the stick or petting. So, for as much as she claims Papyrus would be killed easily, these dogs are much better. And Papyrus is not so easily thwarted in most runs. Even if you flirt with him, he insists on fighting. Attacking him may chip down his HP, but he cannot be killed until he spares you. He puts up a long and challenging fight, one of the longest in the games by sheer mandatory turn count, and one that's difficult enough that if you lose enough times, he gives you the chance to move forward without fighting him. While you could argue that this proves Papyrus can be trusted as a guard, is it really when all the canine unit are more easily swayed than Papyrus? True, the other dogs can deal lethal damage, whereas Papyrus shows more restraint. But I would argue that this restraint and ability to not deal damage once his target's at 1 HP makes him an asset and shows far more self-control in him than monsters, especially other modern parts. And before you bring in the murder run, I just want to point out Papyrus gets blindsided there. Sure, he's extensive approach and tries to convince you to be a better person, but considering how many people felt so bad at that point that they actually stopped, I don't think it's necessarily ineffective. And if you start him in abort the run, he also does mention how scared he was, but had every intention of fighting, and that his special attack would have blasted you if he'd actually set it in motion. Papyrus being one shot in a specific run where many powerful monsters also die in one hit doesn't make him less worthy than the canine unit. And even if he wasn't qualified, that still doesn't change how uncomfortable the implications behind Undyne's actions are. She complains about Papyrus befriending Frisk when he was supposed to capture them, yet what about the other guards who befriended Frisk? What about her, trying to be their bestie? Plus,
With
when you
me,
really stop to
darlings!
think about it, Papyrus fights the human regardless of his royal guard status. Undyne's attempts to protect him are meaningless. He's still going along and he's got a chance of joining, and willing to fight the power because of this being a possibility.
Nice.
Papyrus may be motivated by popularity rather than a genuine desire to be a soldier, but it goes to show that Undyne's good intentions don't amount to much, since he's still going to fight to reach this dream as long as he believes there's a shot. And while an argument can be made that she's closer to Papyrus, she does refer to the dogs as her friends, yet has no qualms with them fighting. Even if we see less interaction and time dedicated to their bonds, it's clear that Undyne does care about them. She even acknowledges how Greater Dog's greatest desire was just to play. But if that's the case, why can't she let Papyrus in? Perhaps it's because the dogs have seniority, or perhaps it's because she spent more personal time with Papyrus, or maybe she hasn't even considered the double standard herself. Feelings are so and truly rational, and people can be weirdly biased all the time. Even so, Papyrus is fully aware of this double standard. They have the phone call. calls, he even complains about how unfair it is that Lutzer gets to be a guard while he doesn't. While this phone call is quite relaxed, when you stop to think about it, and think about how Undyne continues to lie and say cooking is his training, it's just a little condescending.
This one's mine.
When she admits this all things, it's good that she's
Thanks for the attention, darling.
She's leading him on, tricking him into believing that if he applies himself, he will join the guard. That's not a healthy foundation for a friendship, regardless of her intentions. It shows a lack of honesty and respect for Papyrus, that she can't bring herself to tell him she can't let him join, which is a disservice to him because he's doing all this thinking it's real guard training, when it's really just a way to get him off the trail. She tries this whole big moment about being honest to those around her, and she says
Thank you for your consideration.
This would have been a great moment for Undyne to stop, reflect, and realize that she's also been keeping up the lie, and then apologize to Papyrus in the epilogue at least. What if the next minute bring two arms full circle? It would have given Papyrus a lot more respect. But in the end, this never happens. The epilogue dances around Undyne's lie. Asper's is the royal guard expanded, so there's no reason for Undyne to tell him, and it's all just played off as a joke. It just feels wrong.
I feel even stronger.
Sugarcoating and being talked down to since childhood. Imagine being told that you're going to get the opportunity to reach your dreams, but in reality, the person offering you this opportunity is trying to get you to do
If we must fight, then I'll make it fast.
Zero intention of coming clean. If you found out, you'd be crushed. And what's worse is that the only time Papyrus joins the Royal Guard is when the rest of the Guard disbands in the flat pacifist ending. Even then, he was probably only given the title to appease him and make him feel important, as his duties only involved watering flowers. It's interesting, this implies that in giving up on the fight and turning
Violence is never the answer, only the means to it.
There could be a world where that kind of fighting is unnecessary, and she doesn't want Papyrus to end up jaded or pushed into a position where he'd have to do something horrible. In her neutral death speech, she admits that her duties and risk to her life are why she never confessed her true feelings to Alphys.
The mother's strength flows through
her
me.
speech about Asgore and her hang-up, and how much she knows he doesn't want to fight either, it honestly feels like Undyne is carrying this burden for the sake of everyone around her. She'll fight so that others, who are more gentle in nature, don't have to. Even when Undyne is the ruler, Papyrus is just given a position where he has to stand around and look cute. He's the most important royal position, but she's also keeping him out of danger, just having him around for his own self-esteem in the aftermath of tragedy. And again, while I do know that Undyne doesn't want to push Papyrus into a position where he has to hurt or kill anyone, the fact that she never has to confront this lie feels so at odds with a lot of Undertale's messages. Metatron ran away from his friends and family to live his celebrity dreams, but eventually came to regret it, and brought Bluky and Shireen back into his life. Alphys has to confront all their friends and move forward. Asgore admits his own personal lie at the end of the intro, that he never wanted
Thanks for the attention, darling.
And Undyne tells Frisk, not the person she is lying to, why she did what she did, and never once brings it up on screen. Now I can say that she told Papyrus was pacifist. That's the realm of headcanon. Since we never see it, it might as well not happen. And while I certainly don't think Undyne and Papyrus have a bad friendship, this one small detail has a
Educated strength is all it
also
takes.
shows a huge character flaw on pretty believable and a lot more interesting. As I said, people can have double standards. They can lie because they think it's a gentler way to go than brutal honesty. You get the character motivation, but it's just sad that Papyrus never learns the truth and carries on blissfully unaware. It basically has the unintended message that it's okay to tell white lies to people as long as they're happy and ignorant, when in reality, sometimes you have to rip off the band-aid and just tell them the truth. With that all said, I hope that this video was an interesting topic, as I realize it's not one of the big, hard-hitting discussions that the Undertale fandom focuses on. With that being said, if you have other character dynamics or smaller details you'd like me to discuss, do let me Well, the game's 4 years old now, the fandom's hardly dead.
With me, darlings!
They're dishing out fan comics, fan fiction, music, animations. Somehow it's managed to stay alive. Four of this fan base are two characters, Sans and Papyrus, the Skeleton Brothers. With popularity comes misinterpretation and flanderization. While Sans and Papyrus are both crazy popular, so few people really get what makes these characters tick. And believe me, I could write an entire essay on the issues
He's player too.
We have been blessed this day.
The eccentric, over-the-top, and funny skeleton that convinced me to buy this charming game. So, strap yourselves in, folks, as I discuss some common misconceptions of Papyrus, as well as analyzing their things from First impressions. Papyrus is the second character we meet after leaving the ruins. In his very first appearance, we learn several things. First, he's a bit short-tempered, growing frustrated with his brother's laziness and lack of diligence in the face of potential new humans. He's impatient, eager to prove himself.
Ah, traveler, come, sit with us. I'm sure you are surprised that the prince of my statue is down here in this godforsaken labyrinth, preparing to feast on a bat. To be honest, I'm surprised myself. My father never cared much for me. I was his seventh son. No one cared much what I did.
Bruh. Seventh. When poor people get a lot of children, it's normal and expected behavior. But when a noble gets a frick ton of children, oh boy, that tells a lot about them as a person. Especially since nobles can only care for their children so much. Well, anyone can only care for so many people so much. Period.
I ate, drank, and whored until I found this one, Azumi, my shining star. Together, we traveled the Eastern Kingdom until we met a beautiful woman from Duras that shared her visions with us.
I had seen them in my dreams, you see. I saw us all in my dreams, even you, traveler. I told the prince about the labyrinth and that the future of our world would depend on what happened down here.
World?
I knew she was telling the truth, and the longer we explore this place, the more I believe she was right.
Aren't you a bit naive?
Now the perils Amira spoke of are starting to manifest.
Perils?
Someone has been following us down here. Not the Shizu, not the machines. Someone skilled in the arts of stealth and murder.
Then I suggest getting out of here. It'd be far easier to deal with assassination plots under the safety of proper security, rather than this death hole.
So, it is safe to say I was raised in the hellish slum of witchcraft, famine, disease, you name it. I had to learn how to deceive, to trick, and sometimes take life away for those who did not deserve it.
Again, they're literally just doing more world building. They're literally just spouting exposition again. This time about themselves, for no apparent reason. I guess they just trust me now.
When I took a life, I did it through traps. Complex ones. Laws taught by only the most degenerate of the Wu-Jen sorcerers. So, that is how I know someone tried to kill me, Elmira, and Zay today. Upon lifting a pack of abandoned treasure, a jar of paralysis beetles opened. This trick is used to drown thieves by rivers, meaning whoever set this one hailed from Trinity. Someone well-traveled. Someone who has strained my trust with everyone down here.
The shadow gathers. We are enemies of the Ancient of Chaos now. We have killed his acolytes and have actively thwarted the will of a dead god. We must not let the seeds of distrust break us apart. All of us adventurers must face the evil down here together.
The bats look well crisped. Eat now. Worry about saving the world later.
Okay. I wonder what happened. I wonder if I'll see Leroy and his compatriot here again, and if they're just gonna fucking shit on us again. Along with the usual, you know, world building bullshittery. Oh! May as well. Yep. We're on the 10th floor now.
Traveler, we are headed back to Giamata right now.
What?
Something stalked us through an ice cavern. It wouldn't have been an issue for us, but...
But whatever it was, put out the torches. All at once. Absorbing the flame to turn into shadow. It was unsettling, to say the least. Not because of whatever dark magic was used, but because the Shizu don't behave in such a manner.
I haven't fought any Shizu yet. Everyone's hyping them up, but they literally have shown up 0 times in this dungeon so far. Apart from during cutscenes. At least the cultists actually show up and try to kill us, you know? And I fucking murder the shit out of them in spades.
Most of the enemies down here would have ambushed us, but whatever, or whoever it was, never attacked. Something is awry. I'm beginning to wonder what our true purpose down here is. All this talk of Indra, the Ancient of Chaos. I used to think this labyrinth was my path to glory. Now I know, this is no test or trial of my will. This is a battle to keep my humanity from being consumed by forces much greater than I've imagined.
I wanted this to just be a place to get glory.
Let's head back now, Zandy. A good bowl of maize lamb curry and you'll be in good spirits again.
Yeah, you know, I think I'll do that as well. It's best to explore while I have the quests already active.
All adventurers who had the
I want to change Teosra's shit because wow, there's a lot of enemies weak to shock there for some reason. I'm gonna focus on that. Get that to 3, and then I'll go increase water technique. May as well get her access to all 3 elements as well.
So, Warwick is perhaps rougher around the edges than the histories tell. First, he had me rope a lava worm and ride it deep into Shizu territory. We were surrounded easily and had to hide inside machine innards that shocked us every 30 seconds. After fighting our way out, he stole 2 shields from a sleeping guard. I thought to train me in special martial art, but we just used them to sled down a hill, which was wholly unnecessary. I've looked up to that man my entire life, followed his words, even worshipped the ground he trained upon. But even though he's nothing like the legend I envisioned, there was much I needed to learn from him. That adventure is messy, it is dangerous, and while I've been cautious and honed my strength, I've missed out on a crucial aspect of adventure. To enjoy the risks taken, instead of treating them as lines to be added to an exploration report. I've much work to do in finding a sense of purpose outside of my duties. It may sound odd, but I believe the labyrinth will help me regain some joys that my life in Trinity has taken away.
I like that. That might have actually been my favorite piece of dialogue in this entire game, because rather than purely focusing on building the world, it was purely focused on writing characters, and especially writing character development. You know, the main backbone to any good story. Aish'Lora slowly warming up from being a rules lawyer, lawful, good, stupid stickler thing. She's changing. Yeah, it's tell rather than show, but you know, at least it's something.
Apparently Theobald has lost his mind, at long last. Sold himself up in his shop, said he wouldn't talk to anyone but you.
Why?
Have fun with that.
I don't wanna. Oh, hello there, B-rank quality token ×2.
There is a rumor going around that...
That's enough, Pak. The Traveler has been summoned by Samira. You need to come with us. Now.
Thank you for meeting us here. Grave news has made it to the keep.
Grave? Don't exaggerate. A Shizu assassin group has been given the task of executing me, something that would be very difficult for them to do, regardless of how many arms they have.
Hold on, aren't you confident?
I don't understand how the Shizu even came to learn of Lady Samira, or her position in Giamata.
She's an executioner.
Oh, I have some ideas. We have clearly been betrayed by a party exploring in the labyrinth. It doesn't take much imagination to think of who would benefit by my death.
Traveler, we ask that you keep this mission to yourself. Go find the Shizu Assassin Guild and eradicate them. They should be on the 12th station. If you can, bring one back for interrogation.
I need to go all the way to the 12th, which is the last station for that dungeon anyway. Great. Why trust me? Oh no, it's in 10. Why trust me? What if I'm the fucking assassin, you know? Or at least it's one of my peoples.
I'm sure the townsfolk believe I've succumbed to a long-earned insanity. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not sure whether or not I have either. When I was a child, I possessed an uncanny resolution to explore every square inch of the city-state of Trigger, the homeland of us gnomes. I broke into machine labs, accidentally set off powder magazines at the rifle ranges, peeked into every workshop and the noble ballroom.
Why would you go to the ballroom?
One day, I happened across a band of archaeologists. They were brought to the city to unearth a newly discovered tomb, one which they believed held the remains of Gregarian Steam, the first settler of the city. In following them, I saw what lay inside the unearthed vault. A machine, one powered by magic, with a gnome sleeping inside of it, floating in a vat of brine.
Am I an idiot? Are they actually called gnomes instead of dwarves and I've just been an idiot this entire time?
The gnome opened his eyes then, and upon seeing me, activated the device in which he slept, sending them through a portal. The world I saw through the portal was in turmoil, ravaged by ice and fire. I'm sure it was Atlas Prime. Please, please take me there, so I can prove that what I saw was real. I keep seeing that gnome in my dreams. Maybe it was Gregarian Steam himself. I'll meet you down in Atlas Prime.
The music's different.
I have served as
Everyone still says the same things though. I'm not sure getting Killing Word was worth it, but we'll see. Thanks to Body to Mind, even just level 1 is great. Like, it heals like 50 mana. So if I really just can't be bothered with a low level enemy, I can just use that. Otherwise, I don't mind spending another 20,000 to get rid of it if it turns out to be useless. What level are the enemies? That is the biggest drawback for the skill. Enemies have to be weak enough. Otherwise it'll just be used for grinding and there's no point, in my opinion, investing on a skill that's purely for grinding, because you could just use literally anything else. Tell you this game has been anything but well balanced in its progression, in my opinion.
All this fuss over me?
You're level 28, god damn it. It's still good damage. 195. Except I have Punish the Strong, which is 5% more, and does a debuff and is cheaper. Or I could just use the many other elemental bullshits I have. Ugh.
Educated strength is all it takes.
Holy fucking shit.
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
Whoops, I mean to go back here. Oh, yeah. Ancient enchantment. Seems pretty useless. It increases magic defense, magic resistance. Whoa, when did I get that? Excuse me about that, I don't know if you guys heard that, but I just got fucking jump scared by a firework. An explosion, more accurately. But for my sanity, I'm going to assume it was just a firework. As well, let's try getting counterspell, why not? Again. Why not? do I get there?
In the face of potential new human. He's impatient, eager to prove himself. Moreover, he seeks to join the Royal Guard, even if that's largely on his side, reluctantly than others. In contrast, practice methods later is frustrating. Here it is, ready for cover. Sans would rather look at a lamp and make cheesy puns. Now, when Sans starts breaking up the puns, Paris gets increasingly irritated. I believe this is the root of one of the most pervasive.
My studies have prepared me for this.
Except in this very same scene that makes it fun and extreme, the same thing points out that he's smiling despite his exasperation. So, this is what short-tempered, ambitious, seeks friendship and admiration, seems to present himself with a bit of an ego, but has hints of insecurity. Even in extra moments, he can have a lot of them. So it's a shame that most people's optimist is that he's a rabid, fun-eater, which proves it's true that very same misconception. Papyrus and Papyrus. See, the funny thing about this famine is that Papyrus actually makes a ton of puns. More than twice the amount of
Wow, it activated literally immediately, huh?
And some of things. It's still not worthy trait of his, but more than puns, the Sans actor pranks, as shown by the whoopee cushion of the hand trick, the insolvable
Let me help you.
And Sans is a lover of jokes all around.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, with Papyrus, if you look at the phone calls, he's a gold-minded wordplay. He makes many puns throughout the game, oftentimes with a straight face. Why, he even proudly proclaims that his sentry stand is made out of cardboard hydrates, and praises Undyne on her own pun when you visit them in Snowden Town. All in all, Papyrus makes a grand total of 14 puns compared to Sans' 6.
All this fuss over me.
If anything, it's likely that Sans is slacking off combined with the punning as a source of his frustration. Perhaps Sans makes cheesy puns just to get under Pat's non-existent skin. You know, typical sibling stuff. Regardless, Papyrus' punning is likely one of his ways to appear witty with words, and his efforts often appear more subtle than Sans'. With that out, let's move on to another common pair. Spaghetti. Later, during his days, he once again presents spaghetti for his new human friend. Indeed, it seems Paris enjoys cooking spaghetti for others.
Thank you.
But he's obsessed with this.
Oh wow, I feel stronger.
There are even comics where he becomes astonished at the fact that the process exists, except... If you look at the phone calls, Papyrus is shown to be quite the pasta expert. At each elevator, he discusses a different type of noodle, right down to the more obscure ones like lemon cotton. As mentioned, he even made a pasta stand using noodles. This suggests that he's actually quite fond of pastas on the whole, looking into the different shapes and uses. He's a green pasta, leading to this
all this fuss over me.
Moreover, while Papyrus does cook spaghetti, the Q&A from Undertale post analysts is mostly necessary for other people and hasn't been given himself. Plus, as it turns out, Papyrus got his cooking interest from Undyne, and uses it as a distraction to hide the fact that she sees him unworthy of the Royal Guard status. In short, it wasn't even his own interests that got him started, but his mentor tried to lead him down a different path. So he hasn't eaten it yet, but perhaps he does want to try. After all, he does have his good friends to save Eddie from him back in the woods. So even if it's not his favorite food, this doesn't rule out him enjoying it, especially since he likes to slurp marinara sauce like it's something.
All to myself!
Mindset that
thanks for the attention, darling.
People such as Undyne, Sans, and even Frisk. Some of his hopelessly dense and essentially a joke. Frankly, I find this refreshing in that way. Don't get me wrong, I can understand
Thank you.
After all, Sans helped.
We have been blessed this day.
At first, he doesn't even realize Frisk is a human. However, Papyrus is far from the only monster to make this mistake. Humans are rather unknown at the underground, as it's been a long time since the last one fell. Though this isn't the only sin that contributes to poor reputation. The electricity maze also backfires on him. making that to be a bumbling fool with no puzzle-making skills. Avoiding left as a distraction is too cold to eat, so by all accounts, Papyrus does seem like a joke. But if you look closer, there's actually a lot more going on. Later Snowden puzzles are much more challenging. For example, the second XO puzzle requires much more careful observation. While there's ultimately a secret switch, the fact that it's there also suggests some mechanical knowledge. Password to the Gauntlet of Deadly Terror, and we have cannons, spears, flamethrowers, and other assorted weaponry in a complex Cruiser is quite capable of machinery. Never mind the fact that he painted a rock formation to resemble a convincing bridge. In addition to enhancing this puzzle's atmosphere, this also shows that he has decent artistic skills, which is proven further if you look at his snow sculpture earlier on. And even beyond the realm of puzzles and art, Papyrus is far from weak. This battle presents an early game challenge, and more importantly, shows that he has a great deal of restraint. See, Papyrus is the only boss of the game who cannot, or rather will not kill you. He always stops when Frisk is at 1 HP, and heals them fully when he brings them to his shed. This shows that he has a remarkable level of control over his magic, as even Toriel can't make your bullets do 0 damage. And she absolutely doesn't want to kill Demon. Indeed, this coupled with the aforementioned healing suggests a surprising amount of diversity.
Purge the darkness from their souls.
We top it all off.
This one's mine.
Strong. Like I said, the only reason he's not a guard already is
My thanks, dear friends.
his stats are still 20 times higher than his brothers, and it's likely he also had gastric blasters. It seems he was perfectly ready to fight Frisk on the genocide run. That was cut short due to his kindness. Moving on, let's talk about innocence. This is probably my biggest pet peeve of all. The idea that Papyrus is this fleshy little snowflake with a do-no wrong. I think a big part of this stems from the genocide run. Here, despite Frisk's murderous spree, Papyrus gives him a chance. He urges them to be a better person. Even in death, he gives them a chance. It's a powerful moment, which often drives players to quit their genocide runs altogether. However, he knows the severity of the situation. After his fight, he pleads with Undyne not to kill Frisk, at least in what passively. He's nervous, absolutely guilty, knowing that his actions likely disappointed and not infuriated his mentor. Granted, some people cite the neutral influences of Papyrus not knowing about death. Certain outcomes lead to Satan's telling that his friends are on vacation. This often leads to the assumption that he's unaware of death, and here's the thing. Papyrus knows Undyne wants to kill Frisk. Moreover, if you look at the King Papyrus ending, Papyrus is much more emotionally burdened than he lets on. In this ending, he outright admits that he's suspicious of what happened. It's implied that he knows his friends are dead. Just look at his hesitation, his expressions. In these trying times, when the kingdom is struggling for hope and recovery, it's likely easier to pretend to look at a postcard than to accept he never will. Because if Undyne contacts him, that means she's okay. It means we'll see her again, but in reality, he won't. This is a continuing trend in other endings too, such as the Betrayed Undyne ending. He states that if Frisk had returned, Undyne would kill them, and Toriel would be able to stop them. No text to like them, no one way to this. It's just goodbye. This proves that there are times when even he knows things will get better, when you have to face reality. But if you kill Metatron after Undyne's hangout, it gets even darker. Not only has Undyne lost the will to keep going, but Papyrus even suggests snacking revenge, just to make her feel better. If he was so innocent, why would he do that? Like before, there's a lot of weak optimism. I hope that the human can undo what happened to make Undyne happy, but yet again, it's laziness. But that's not all. Papyrus also shows a clever and manipulative side in Undyne's hangout, where he uses reverse psychology to convince her to befriend Frisk. As you can see here, he's very aware that Sans has a share of secrets that he won't tell him. And after his meeting with Undyne, Papyrus tries to subtly aid Frisk, torn between his mentor and his new friend. He likely knows what he's doing is risky, so he bends the rules by telling him the secret. He adapts to a tricky situation as best he can, and while there's no guarantee it'll work, ultimately the purpose of them getting together in the hopes that they can put aside their differences. In the genocide run, he establishes that his puzzles are crazy, and he's fair. He admits he was actually afraid of Frisk and didn't expect them to show mercy. And while a lot of people use Peekaboo with Fluffy Bunny to suggest he's childish, he holds that book in the same regard as Advanced Puzzles for Critical Minds, so it's not like he only reads children's books. Perhaps most importantly, after Alpheus' escape, he suggests that Heman better check up on her. This suggests that he picked up on her distress and nudged Frisk her way home to make sure she really wasn't. True, Flying is probably another factor, but given his comments in the endings as well as his knowledge of Sans' own secrecy, I think it's safe to say that Papyrus has been receptive of people's feelings. So, while he may be a little naive in some areas, he's certainly not completely detached from reality. As a matter of fact, Papyrus' complexities go even deeper. It's clear for us, not in Forest, that Papyrus is very eager for friendship. While he set out to capture Heman, throughout the journey he treats them with friendliness and support, which his brother pushes even further by reminding players just how cool he is, as well as his many good accomplishments. When he finally reaches his wife, he delivers a speech that further cements his loneliness. While he ultimately professes on being fully, to me, it reaches a clear deflection of his own inner feelings. After all, Papyrus doesn't really have any friends, in fact. It's like they're not even truly his friends, or at least he doesn't perceive it that way. He refers to her as a boss and suggests they both reflect that fact. Curious, isn't it? But it further cements his desire to be popular. There's more too, like his comments about wanting to be friends with everyone during Waterfall. The fact that he lies about his opinions to please others too. Just look at how he starts off berating Brilliance until Unkind voices her love for the place, and then immediately changes his tune. Let's not doubt the desire to look more favorable by sharing opinions. That is the same thing that in front of the camera, he certainly implies as much. And consider how Sans is extremely popular. Everyone knows him. Everyone seems to adore him. He has a full mailbox while Papyrus is empty. Sure, Papyrus could just check his mail often. But when he put together all the pieces, it paints a rather sad picture for our skeletal friend. A skeleton whose only close companion was a flower with dubious intentions, who was implied to have gotten close through flattering predictions. For someone who wants to be loved, having this strange little plant to support him certainly rocked his world. You think he was willing to start a fan club in at least a few of Flower's friends, and speaks so proudly of him on the phone. There's no denying the bond. A bond that's widely one-sided. But for someone as unrealistic and desperate for friendship, it really didn't matter. He just supposed to be important. Moving on, let's talk about fighting. For some reason, people seem to think that Papyrus is a pure pacifist. This once again seems based heavily on his genocide dialogue, but there's plenty of evidence against it. First of all, his boss friends first introduced new battle mechanics, and it's through this direction. Up until this point, all attacks have been millions with attacking against methods, Papyrus being gold state. Papyrus subverts expectations by turning the seemingly harmless food into a surprise, forcing players to adapt with fairly consistency. And despite the aforementioned insecurities, he puts us all into the fight in order to seize his dream of becoming a Wolf Guard. True, his heart's not truly in, but he'll still be Frisk down to 1 HP repeatedly. It's only after they fail several times that he's willing to let them pass without a doubt. And through this battle, his attacks get more and more elaborate, to the point where he's spelling the words cruelty with bones, making a show of it all. Plus, if you're on the intro path and he's not at his house, he calls himself a brutal kind of guy. Then he mentions how fighting is a great way to make friends with some of the foes. I think if Papyrus truly was against fighting, he'd never give the role of Guard a second thought. Instead, it's his passion. So while Papyrus is willing to give people a fair chance and is against killing, it's safe to say he's going to be wrong. Finally, let's talk about the Sans problem. Now, before I go on, let me just say that I do like Sans as a character. My issue is more how the fandom treats him and Papyrus in relation to each other. See, one thing I've noticed is that people tend to attribute a lot of traits strictly to Sans, even when those traits are shown in other characters. There's a whole, let's talk about realism. As you can see here, Papyrus has reflected deja vu. This is particularly clear right before his battle, John Cassius battle before. Also worth noting is the Sans doesn't reflect the realities. Just like his brother, he only has inklings of deja vu. Stating just specific Papyrus' deja vu, a trait shared with Unkind. This being Papyrus is more ambitious than his brother. After all, determination is connected to the saving of loathing. While I wouldn't go as far as to call him determined, he does have an incredible willpower, while his brothers assume him far more apathetic stance. He is still sharp enough to warn players not to find his bro, pick up on Frisk's rapid reloading, mess around in the last portal. But I still think it's a fun angle to consider. Also, when people want to give Sam's nightmares an insomnia, we have this called your pet says it's your least favorite nightmare. Fine, he has enough nightmares to even categorize. He also doesn't seem to get much sleep at all, although he does mention cruising monthly snoozes during this date. You could interpret this as him not wanting to sleep much due to productivity, and I think that's definitely part of it. But you could also consider Undyne's presence effect, as he does want to appeal to her and be a worthy Beauregard. Moreover, I think there is some truthful regard to your patience. It's just ambiguous enough to say that Papyrus is neutral. Still, one huge thing player of this is that Papyrus is the whole reason Sans became a sentry in the first place. Indeed, Papyrus was the driving force in his father's life. This neatly fits into his established behaviors, like pushing Sans to be around, pick up the socks into his job. He cares about his brother and wants him to succeed. He's very supportive in his own bossy and exasperated way, and in turn, Sans is eager to help him find his fire and friend and talking up his strong points. It's a very balanced relationship overall. Sans reaches out and his brothers and slot. They realize my biggest problem. Just if you look at most fandoms, Papyrus is so often used the people for Sans' angst, Sans' stories. Instead of this balanced and healthy dynamic, we see Sans being overprotective and saving his brother time and time again, but his own empathy keeps him from mustering up the will to do so in neutral events. When Papyrus dies, Sans does nothing. When Undyne dies in neutral events, Papyrus waits outside her house for her to come back. If you didn't give her water, he will try his best to help her, standing watch. Overall, Papyrus is very active. Papyrus cares. I'd even argue that he's the unspoken hero of Undertale, as when we get down to it, he's the sole reason pacifist people happens. Just think about it. Without his encouragement, Frisk would never have befriended Undyne. Without befriending Undyne, Frisk would never have given Alphys the letter, prompting the date in her confession. If he had mentioned Frisk for the lab, Alphys would have never found the courage to tell the truth about the Undermines, or at least the Amalgamates. And if he hadn't called all the monsters together, Flav would have been the Amalgamate Ezreal. All the characters, Papyrus is through his calls and through his actions. So to me, he really is a big part of Undertale's life. Or at least, he's a huge chunk of the keeper. So ultimately, the issue with the Sans idealization is that it takes one character involving so much to be assigned with his infinite it's so difficult. In closing, Papyrus is a very complex character with a lot of nuance and weight to Undertale's story. Many of his depths are revealed through phone calls, neutral endings, and close reflections and Skyblock interactions.
Upgrading this does nothing.
So, interested in learning more about Papyrus, I'd like someplace in the description. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you have another character you like, whether it be Undertale, Kingdom Hearts, or some other series, let me know in the comments section below.
Might be a good idea to try getting preventative medicine. Of ailment resist only she can benefit from that though. How about ways of war? Increase the damage from staff and wand attacks, that seems pretty good honestly.
Aw, all this fuss over me.
Let's put it down. Make its suffering swift.
This is the better group for the once again.
Powers of the heavens! I am blessed with new strength.
Ah. Wow. Well, I don't need it. Yeah, Toho Wild Quest that was only released 5 days ago? Hell yeah. I was gonna say the sliding puzzle doesn't seem like it was used enough. I hate myself for jinxing it. Oh god, this just gave me PTSD from Mary Skelter with Gretel's place. I already did Gretel's dungeon, so everyone should have the chance to know what I'm talking about if they watch my videos at least. And yes, I will map out this entire thing. It's just what I do.
There are many passageways connected to that large patch of ice back there. See if you can find a way to reach them.
Yeah. put in another slider block also, but this time I'm using these as well in conjunction. Ooh.
This doesn't take a genius to notice. Aw, all this fuss over me.
Here's some Shizu people.
I swear to use this power for the well-being of others.
What's that? What's that?
Just goes on and on.
Better keep my guard up. This one's mine.
One educated strike is all it takes. My turn.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Better keep my guard up.
You guys.
Let's put it down. Make its suffering swift.
This one's mine.
Thank you.
My reward would have been to avoid that guy if I did the sliding puzzle. Yo.
If we must fight, then I'll make it fast.
Nice.
Powers of the heavens!
Guess I won. Better luck next time.
Oh no.
This one's mine.
it takes.
By my hand, powers of the heavens.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you.
That wasn't very worth it. Cool.
Traveler, we need to speak. The Shizu have been talking about you.
Gossip, see. It's just gossip.
Some have taken to calling you their ally. They speak of you forsaking your oaths, of how you intend to sacrifice us adventurers to the heart of Atlas Prime.
Z.
I cannot deny or accept these claims.
No, Amira. Something has been going on down here. Something that has to do with the Traveler, and how they escaped the labyrinth in the first place.
Just what did you do down here so long ago?
Plot convenient amnesia.
What are you afraid of us discovering?
I'm as clueless as you guys are.
Please excuse them. We've had a hard go at this floor today. Someone made off with the chest we were bringing back to Giamata.
Yes, someone who didn't want us to break the seal and see what was inside.
The seal of your Ashtari, Traveler.
Stop it. Again, please excuse us. We need to head back to the Red Horse and get some rest.
I was starting to like you, you know. Let's hope we don't need to share words next time we meet.
Hot? Cold? Hot again. This place is misery incarnate. I'll have to develop some self-regulating temperature suit before I come back in here. Regardless, the machine and that gnome have always puzzled me. Modern geologists have found that the fertile land Trigger was founded upon used to be a desolate, barren plain. Now, It is a verdant land rife with pasture and ripe soil. The 9 founders of the city and Gregarian never fully explained how they transformed the lands. But legends do not like to sleep. Rumors spread of a device Gregarian found, the Garden Maker, a machine which uses magic to transmute abiotic material into organics. We will diverge paths here. Keep an eye out for any unusual flora on your trek.
So wanna map out the entire slider room puzzle? I'll be back, Sindri.
If we must fight, then I'll make it fast.
Feel like it. Damn it. You guys clearly have a death wish.
One educated strike. All it takes.
We have been blessed this day.
I don't think it's possible to map out those remaining blank tiles, from what I can see. It appears to simply be genuinely impossible. That's not possible. For all intents and purposes, this map is complete.
I'm not sure how fire and ice can exist so close to one another. It's as if the laws of nature don't always apply in the labyrinth.
Gee, you think?
Oh, those are interesting signs indeed. I saw a similar phenomenon. Come, let us travel together. What we seek must surely be ahead. Yes. This is the machine I saw as a boy. It is surely the device which built my homeland. There's a sigil on the machine. The sigil of House Steam. Could this be Lord Gregarian himself? If I were to wake him up, we may be able to bring him back to Trinity. The secrets he's learned could revolutionize our world. He seems at peace, deep in dream, while creating another land for other people to one day settle, should they choose. Yes, it is his turn to traverse other worlds. The chamber he is in, he must have replaced another when he entered it. From what world did they come from? What things did they dream of while in Trinity? Traveler, thank you for bringing me here. It's best we leave now. I believe now there are some dreams that shouldn't be spoken of, lest they one day collapse.
My studies have prepared me for this.
A lot of enemies are more weak to magic than they are physical in this place. Stop that! Stop!
This one's mine.
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
Wow, we won!
Thank you.
Ooh. There is a strong mana potion. Oh well, isn't this easy? literal challenge of this room is the fact that there's invisible walls.
My studies have prepared me for this.
Thank you for your consideration.
Sunk cost fallacy. It's alright.
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
Nol Kratzenvis Fridor. Silmeyer.
If we must fight, then I'll make it fast.
My.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thanks.
Harp of harmony, calm their restless souls.
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
My thanks, dear friends.
Easier than I expected.
Wow, we won!
Yet, escaped and lived.
This one's mine. Here, let me help you.
Thank you.
The mother's strength flows through me.
Let's put it down. Make its suffering swift.
Thanks for the attention, darling.
This one's mine.
One educated strength is all it takes.
I think it's
Thank
actually
you for your consideration.
time casting diva.
Guess I won. Better luck next time.
Interesting.
The mother's strength flows through me.
Harp of harmony, calm their restless souls.
Thank you for your consideration.
Well done. Bring us the Shizu. I will hold the interrogation. I feel it imperative to let you know I will be executing you, no matter what you say or do not say.
Get back!
Not bad. This was much more interesting than the other attempts to end my life over the last few years.
I would advise against brushing this attack off as a joke, Adjutant General.
I remember giving out my first death sentence. An arsonist was on trial. She had burned down several barns, killing the animals within. The last one she burned had children trapped inside. When I gave my judgment, the arsonist went wild. Completely delusional, screaming that the source of all fire dwelled within her, that she would use it to explode and destroy the whole kingdom. As my sword struck her down, I remember being afraid. that my blade would puncture the origin of all flame and set it loose upon the world. But of course, that did not happen.
Why would you believe her delusional words?
You told me this story once. You were only 17 years old, if I recall.
Yes,
How old
I
are you?
was. Lord Foster was there as well. After the execution, he waited until I was alone, then snuck up behind me to clap his hands beside my ear. All he said was, "Boom." We were both training to be adjutants, but he was not cut out for a life of honor and service to the light of justice. The serpent cannot hide from the light. None of us can. Thank you, Kalmir, for the protection spell. Traveler, please keep this event to yourself. Jenica would not handle the news well. Or she might try to startle me in my sleep with another of Furbog's fireworks.
Bruh, that's just genuinely mean. As someone who has sleep problems due to my neighbors, I don't condone such pranks.
I have no time for small talk.
Yeah, you can go to the Great Hall and all you can do is talk to her and that's all she ever fucking says. Great character. Whoa. % ailment resist, it's really nice. I don't need it. Maybe I'll just sell it. That'd be stupid. Ah, there's the tower shield. Ooh. Rod Breaking still have more magic though, so. Interesting. Attack and defense. I think duplicates work weirdly and equipped in the screen. I guess I'll go equip them now just in case. Yeah, weird. Heck yeah. That's enough for today. Oops, let me